Kurt from Orlando, Florida, listens on WTLN. Hello, Kurt. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Doing great. What's going on?
Well, your little lead-in about your daughter kind of helped me a little bit. Several months ago, I called you guys back in June. My wife of 15 years asked me for a divorce.
Ouch.
And you guys were nice enough to send me How We Love. And I've read that and found out a lot about myself and a lot about her. Unfortunately, she's still proceeding with the divorce. She's since moved out and is, getting all the paperwork and ready to go. I had stopped probably after about a month of begging and pleading and crying and, let's not do this. I stopped doing that. And so I guess my question is, knowing that she is a vacillator, she's a beautiful girl. You could probably put her picture in the book and increase sales. She's just beautiful, but she is a vacillator to the T.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an avoider pleaser combination type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, should I make one more push? My question is, do I make one more push to her and say, let's try to work this out, or do I just kind of, like you just said, let God kind of work it out in His time?
Okay. Well, let's talk with literally the doctor of vacillation. You seem to work with so many of these women, and often they are quite attractive women.
Well, they're not just women, they're men. I mean, I have as many vacillator men in my office as I do women.
I stand corrected.
Well, we just, I think it's important to say that attachment styles are gender neutral, essentially. And I have the equal number on both sides of the aisle. So, Kurt, I appreciate you trying, and I appreciate you trying to understand yourself and your wife. You know what I think? I think that, vacillators always want to run away from somebody that seems distant to them or somebody that they can't create intensity with. And she might be leaving you because she feels like she's never been able to reach into you and ever have any connection with you, which is
You've described it perfectly. She says, I'm a great dad, I'm a great provider, I'm even a good husband, but I can't give her what she wants, and she can't trust me with her heart because what you described right there.
Right. The problem is though sometimes vacillators, men and women, want there to be too much of your capacity to engage with their heart. They overwhelm you, and if you don't quite match their expectations, then what happens is they reject you because they have an idealized view as to what that would look like. Maybe they have Princess Bride, pictured in their mind, the movie, where there's an incredible intensity of love and romance, and it's just really fairy tale-ish. They struggle with reality, and they have a high ideal as to what they would like love to feel like. And then they struggle with the gap between that and reality. What I would do is I would tell her, because it sounds like you really do love her, and I would tell her, I love you. A divorce is never final in my book until you end up remarrying somebody else, and I'm going to be available for you, and I will always be here for you. And to say, no matter what the papers say about the divorce, I still love you and will be available. And I will also, if my name's Kurt, I'm going to try to learn to better access my feelings and emotions. I'm going to try to be able to share more feelings with her and be more transparent with her about my real state, about how I'm feeling, because that's attractive to vacillators.
Okay.
Don't
Very
give
good.
up.
And every year we do a marriage conference. And that's what I would be saying to her. We have to go to this.
Yeah, we're doing one with New Life here. We're doing one in April.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be pointing toward.
Well, what she's told me, because we went to counseling, and once the counselor started to zero in on her and saying she has some abandonment issues from her childhood and stuff, she stopped going.
Yeah, that's too bad.
She won't. Yeah, she says she won't do anything right now to repair the marriage.
Right.
That's her.
Well, she's made
but
you.
Yes, I will bring it up.
She's made you all bad. And,
yes, I am evil.
She's made the marriage all bad, which is what vacillators tend to do. They tend to go between all good and all bad. But I would just be patient with her, tell her you're here, you're not going anywhere. And it's interesting, Steve. We hear stories here on the radio of people who got divorced and then got remarried. Divorce isn't a final thing.
Right.
It's just a piece of paper.
Right.
I can continue to pursue somebody, and I'm not going to give up and to tell that person that you love them. Vacillator are often very poor in their self-reflection skills. They always target everybody else as making them feel a certain way.
It's just so sad that they need to hear the truth, and it's the truth that runs them off in counseling unless you are able to delicately handle that. How do you handle that? How do you talk truth to a vacillator without them doing what his wife did?
Well, first of all, I don't know how I do that. They know I love them.
Mm-hmm.
They also know that I understand them. I tell them the struggle they're having before they tell me the struggle they're having,
Mm-hmm.
or I add to it, and they get you finally get
Mm-hmm.
me. You do get me, and then it allows me to bridge into their histories and talk about the characteristics of the vacillator, and then depersonalize the marriage just a little bit and say, you know what, you guys are like every other vacillator avoider couple, and there's millions of you out there.
It's such an insult, kind of, to be able to be pegged so accurately, though.
Well, it could be. Some people don't like being labeled, but others love it because, so that's what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we get letters daily from people who say it is such a relief to finally find out what's going on in our relationship. And sometimes vacillators, men and women, learn slowly after the failure of the second or third relationship, and they finally, I'm the common denominator. So it takes time, and it may never be repaired. All you can do, and the Bible says, Kurt, for you, as far as it depends upon you, be at peace with all people, and you can only do your best.
All right, Kurt, I'm going to send you walking into walls, and I hope that will help you there, and sounds like that you've overcome that first wall I talk about, stubborn resistance. You're willing. It's too bad it's tough for vacillators to get over that wall.